Podcast. I'm going to go ahead and change the title for you guys. Tonight we're going to talk about heaven. Is there or isn't there a heaven? And that's how we're going to start our podcast tonight. So the podcast, we're going to talk about heaven and what is people's consciousness about heaven. So that's going to be our topic, and we're going to start off with that, and we're going to see where that leads us. So join us tonight, and let's talk about different concepts of what is heaven. Yeah, we might even talk a little bit about what is hell. And I'm your host, Sid Patrick. So thank you for joining me tonight. It is 8 o'clock on March the 19th. And we're getting ready to get started. And let's get a few people to log on. It's right up 8 o'clock. Usually people just start checking in. And we are currently on YouTube and on Facebook. I'm not sure if we are on TikTok. I will check and see what TikTok is saying. They had taken us down, but we'll see if they let us come back up. Nope, not yet. I did apply again yesterday, but still not accessed. But so tonight's episode, I'll try to get on by next week so that we can do the cards, the symbology deck next week on TikTok. But tonight we're just going to be on Facebook and on YouTube. So I will let a few people come on, but tonight's topic is going to be all about the consciousness of heaven. And what are your beliefs? We're going to talk about different schools of thought, different things that people might believe. What is heaven? Is it up there? Is it where? Where is it? And what do some atheists believe? And is dead really dead? And all those different things. So that's what tonight's topic's going to be about. I'm hoping to get some good interaction from people. So we will see. I'm going to turn off this. I have two computers up right now. I'm going to turn one down because I think I'm only going to need one, and I'm not going to do any videos or anything. So I'm going to go ahead to full screen. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining the Touching Eternity podcast. It is the Wednesday night 8 p.m. episode, and this is the major and primary episode. This is the one that is weekly. I do come on different times during the week with different things. Last night we came on and talked about seances and what happens. We talked about the difference between physical mediumship and mental mediumship and what are those differences. Tonight we're going to talk a lot about different concepts of what people who believe in heaven, what are different beliefs of heaven, and what brings faith, and what is faith. And the reason I'm bringing it up is I had a client the other day who asked me about that. They literally asked me about faith and what is faith. Let me get the camera up a little bit. Okay. And they were really asking me about faith and questioning me about their faith. Hey, Mary, how you doing, love? So tonight, that's what I want to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about your faith and your spirituality, because I had a client who came to see me, and the client wanted to know, how do they get a faith? How do they look at their spirituality? Is there heaven? The client thought maybe they're atheists, maybe they're not, maybe they're, they didn't know what they were, and they wanted to know how to develop that faith or that spirituality. So we had a long discussion about that. So I thought tonight that might be an interesting topic. Next week we are going to get into the symbology. So I'm going to let a few more people get on before we start talking about that, because I'm going to want to hear about some feedback from you guys as well. But next week we will talk about, let me turn that right side up for you, symbology. We will use these cards, and we will go over that next week. Also, during tonight's episode, I will continue, like I did last night, showing you 3 different tarot cards for those that took the tarot series, for you to write those down and continue to creating your stories, because you will need to have at least 3 of those stories to apply for the masterclass. that I will be teaching later on during the year. So, and I had a few people tell me last night that they were interested in that master class. So again, you will have to apply to be in that class, and you're going to have to eventually read for me or tell me the stories of cards without reading meanings. I want to know the story you get. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Tonight's like I said, tonight we're going to talk about heaven, because who doesn't want to be in heaven? Heaven sounds like such a wonderful place to be. There are different cultures and different stories and different things. And then there's some cultures that some people don't believe in heaven at all. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. Oh, okay. So let a few more people log in, and then we're going to get started. And we're going to talk about some different faiths, some spirituality, and how one would develop a spirituality. So let's do a little bit of talk. So, okay. So a few days ago, I had a client, and that was one of their questions to me was, how does one develop their spirituality? And how does one get faith? And they wanted to kind of copy their partner's faith. And I'm like, well, that's not your faith. That's not how you would develop a faith. In a relationship, you're supposed to have your ideal of life, and your partner has their ideal of life, and then y'all join together in a symbiotic relationship, and you create a life. I said, but if your faith, you might be similar to their faith, but it shouldn't be the same, because then it's not true to you. Your faith needs to be true to you. And I tell people the best way to do that is to walk down with your spirituality, and your faith is to walk down a neutral path and experience different cultures, different philosophies, different idealities, and then take what has meaning to your heart. Take what resonates with you. Some things might in some cultures, some things may not. And develop what has meaning for you. Even though I am currently a spiritualist, I still carry a lot of my Catholic upbringing, because it's what's familiar to me. It doesn't mean that it's right, but it's what's familiar to me, and I'm comfortable with it. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong or right. It has nothing to do with anybody else or their opinion. It only has to do with what makes my heart feel good, or my Christian self. So it's what makes me feel good. It's about my faith, about my love. You do what makes your heart happy, what makes your heart pure, what brings love to your heart, what gives you compassion, what gives you love, what gives you empathy of others and yourself. So that's what brings in spirituality. That's what brings in faith. That's how you find what is real for you. And whichever one you decide to follow, that's the one, you should go down that middle road, and that's the one that makes sense to you. And people say, well, what does the Bible says this? And what does the Bible say? The Bible has so many conflicting stories in it. You can twist that to be anything you want it to be. It does. And remember one thing: the Bible was written by man, okay, and inspired by the words of it. The Bible's been changed so much, but it was changed to control people. Bottom line, it was. But if you read the Torah, if you read any parts of the Torah or the other sacred scriptures and all that, it's none of it's the same. So which one are you going to believe? So I tell people, go with what makes your heart happy. But it's about you, not about anybody else. It's for you to live by and not to judge others. It's for you to find a common peace in your heart and a common place in your heart, to try to understand other people. And I understand there will be people different than you, okay? But learn to love all. And if you can do that, the world will open up to you. So what is heaven? This person also asked me, what is hell? And I said, well, I think we're living in hell right now. I think Earth is. I don't mean like, I don't mean like right now, this time, and I don't mean just America. I mean globally. I think when you're born into the world, this is the hardest part of it all. I do believe that. I believe that is the hell, because this is where you have to learn all this on your own. You're not given a manual. You know, you're not told that you're born with all these wonderful gifts. You're not told. You have to figure it out on your own. That's hell. Um, unless you're lucky to get a good tutor or a good mentor, you're not. So to me, this is where you struggle. So to me, this is hell. Once you go to heaven, you go into a consciousness. You're born into a consciousness. Um, an atheist might think, and science, on some types of science, might be, you just go underground and you die. But if they truly are scientists, then what happens to all that energy you created? Because remember, energy doesn't die if you believe in science, because E equals mc squared. Remember? So what happens to all that energy, right? So, and again, if that is true, then how do mediums work? Okay, so again, I'm not here to change you. I'm here to help you find a path, or to go neutrally down a path, to decide about your own spirituality, to put your own heart in check and say, do I really love? Okay, that's what tonight's conversation is about. Am I prepared to build and create the heaven that I want to see when I close my eyes? So that's what tonight's about. It's about helping you understand, and nor do I think I have all the right answers either. It's because who knows? I can only go by what I've learned from speaking to the other side, and who knows if they telling me the truth, because I'm not dead, as I tell people all the time, we none of us know until we get there, and there's been some after, but we have talked to people who have died and come back, or they've had moments on the other side and have come back. I have sat in seance, and we have sat with people who we've sat with people who go into trance, and they do direct voice, so they talk with people from the other side. We've been able to ask questions. And these are just some of the things that we've learned. And do I believe them 100%? Probably. You're gonna have doubts on everything, but for me, it makes the most sense. I do truly believe that love is divine. I truly do believe that, and this is me personally, I'm not trying to push this on you. I truly believe that love is divine, that true love is divine, and I truly believe that love is forever. If you really love something, it is forever. You don't fall. If you really love something, you don't throw it away. Even if you get mad at it, you never really lose it. Because I tell people, many of you know that my anniversary was yesterday, 15 years with Magni, and I would not trade that for the world. And people, a lot of times I tell people to read them when I'm doing relationship counseling. I'll tell them, true love, this is true love. Magni could walk into the room and tell me that he's not happy anymore and he needs to try something different in life and he needs to leave. And I would tell him, take anything you want. And would I hurt? Absolutely. But I love him enough to let him go, because his happiness means more to me than anything in the world. Because he has shown me what true love is. And everything that we have has been a combination of the both of us working very hard for it. So I would let him have whatever he wanted and he needed to move on, to be successful, to be happy. I would not be angry. I'd be hurt, but I would move on, because to see him happy means more to me than my own. And that is love, folks. If you can let something go that you really, really love because you want to see it blossom or it needs to grow, That is love. And I'm telling you, that's how you know when you're really, really in love. And that didn't happen overnight. Now, when I first met him, I'd have beat the hell out of him. No, I'm just kidding. When I first met him, probably to beat the hell out of him. No, but it took years to get. It took years to get to that point. People don't understand that there are stages of love, and so I know that my love for him is eternal. Even though I saw my post on Facebook about that, my love for him is eternal. But I know that I'll see him in heaven, and I know that we will be together again in my consciousness. Our energies will be together in heaven. And heaven is a consciousness. It's a consciousness where energy survives. And that's how I look at heaven. That is my concept of heaven. Now, you might have another one. Some people think heaven is in the stars. Some people think it's another dimension. Some people think it doesn't exist. Some people just have faith that or they say it's a faith because they're told that it's a faith. But for me, I gotta have more than just that. So for me, it's a conscious. And I think that because of being a medium and working as a medium, I know that these things that I see and feel and sense are real. And I know that I can't do it. However would you be that supportive to let him go if you love something? Well, it does. So Tina, see how you said that? So it doesn't matter how he feels. See, that's the whole point of love. I can't speak for him. Love is about, you can never tell someone, I can never judge his love for me. I can only judge my love for him. Make sense, Tina? Like Tina says, however you would be that supportive to let him go. If you love something, set him free. If it comes back, it's yours. If not, it was never yours. No, it's never mine to begin with. Magni's not mine. Magni's not mine. I can't judge how he feels about me. I can only control the way I love him. Now he says he loves me that much, but that's none of my business. My business is only the way I feel about him. You see? Remember, I always tell y'all, how people feel about me is none of my business. That's why when people say stuff about me online or whatever, I could care less because it's none of my business. I know in my heart how I feel about people in general, that I traditionally care about everybody. And I truly believe that the decisions I make are for the best interests of all, not just one person or one group. That I try to look at what's in the best interest for everybody. Okay, because that's just who I am. And we may not agree, and that's okay. And that's fine. I'm not mad at you because you don't agree with me. I may not tell you everything because maybe the way you're thinking about me may be harmful to me. So you may not know what my next move would be, but but it doesn't mean I dislike you. You just may not know a whole lot about me, or my plans for safety reasons. But other than that, I don't really care what people think about me because I know deep down in my heart, I do what's best for people. And I really try to be, that's fine, Tina. I try to do what's best. So again, relationships, when you fall in love, that love will grow to the other side with you. You will be there with your family and the people that you love. And even the people that you didn't get along with will be there because you'll love them on the other side. And that's what really freaks people out when I tell them that. So, that person that really gets on your nerves in the family that you just want to take a shoe off to? No, I'm just kidding. That one that just drives that nail in your foot every time you go to a family reunion or you're at a party. Well, that person's going to be on the other side with you. And you know what? You're going to love them and they're going to love you. Because when you cross over to the other side, the only thing that crosses with you is love. Now, the memories cross too, but the feeling of discord or the feeling of animosity or the feeling of anger don't cross. Now the memories cross because that's what a medium taps into. So that's kind of what heaven's like. It's a bunch of it's heaven's based around love and that energetics of love. And so when a medium taps in, we're tapping into the soul of the person, and we can sense the love, but we can also sense the memories, and we can see the memories, and we can smell things, and we can taste things, and we can hear the memories, and we can see the things that happened in life. It's because the soul is almost like a transparent ball, and it's like almost like an interaction of a movie playing inside, and we can see and hear and sense those things that are going on, and those are just memories that are playing. And all the time, it's not, and people say, well, oh, you just tapping into the mind of the person you're reading. But no, many times when we read, the person that we're talking to we're telling them things that they know nothing of, and the spirit brings it to them after. Those are actually the best validations. So it's the energetic bond of the love that someone has that brings out that love and creates many, many miracles. We talked about miracles a little bit last night. I'm not going to get into that tonight because I don't want to keep repeating the same stories over and over on these podcasts. Some of the stories that of all the miracles that I have seen, because there's been many that I can't even remember. There's been so many because they happen daily. Like, I think the all the time in my house, things are moving, like constantly, like knocking on walls and all that kind of stuff. So that's just a common everyday occurrence here. Last night it was changing. Colored lights kept changing in the room, in my bedroom, and in the hall. And I'm like, what's going on? I had to get up and read the light manual because I thought I was getting carbon monoxide poisoning because it was all those lights. They're alarmed, but the lights on it kept changing colors. So I'm like, okay, does that mean I'm like this carbon monoxide in my house? I had to get up in the middle of the night and go read them. But it wasn't. It was just that something was playing with the lights and making them flash different colors throughout the whole house. I don't know what was doing it. They weren't alarming. It was just changing colors. So I thought maybe it was a battery, but then I looked and they're plugged into the wall. So I'm like, not batteries. So that was kind of weird last night. So I do get a lot. I get a lot of phenomena around me, folks, and most of you will too. You just don't realize it. I mean, I'm sure there's a common explanation, and then after about a little while, it just went away. It just stops. Once it's crazy. Could be dementia. Never know. I'm getting old, so I don't know. Maybe it's dementia. Who knows? But anyway, so back to this. So consciousness to me is heaven. So, and I was up, and at one point, one of the things I was afraid of doing was being cremated. But then I realized we're all cremated because here in New Orleans, they put us into the walls, and that's slow cremation. So I'm going to get cremated. I'd rather be cremated fast than slow. So I'm going to go in the oven. But so anyway, so I tell people all the time, figure out who you are, what you are. Now, what I can tell you, if you go to a church where they preach negativity, if you go to a church or a place of worship where they're teaching negativity, or where they're screaming at you, or they're teaching control, they're telling you everything is always negative or misogynistic, or it's always about the patriarchal, then you're probably not in a spiritual place. You're probably in a place that's trying to control its congregation and raise its funds. If that's what makes you happy and that's what you want to love, because that's what you maybe grew up in culturally and what you're used to, there's nothing wrong with it. If that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to do with your life, I'm not condemning that. I tell everybody you need a faith. No matter what it is, you need to find faith, especially if you're going to do things like go on ghost hunts, or you're going to do anything in the paranormal world, or you're fooling with different types of energy. You need to have some kind of faith. Be a spiritualist. You need to have some kind of faith, some kind of love, some kind of protection. because there is negative energies in the world. Notice I said negative, not evil. I stay away from that word. People say, well, do you think there's not evil? And no, there is, but I don't speak it. I don't give it power. And at my age, I can't, because I'm not the young man I used to be, and so I don't want to challenge anything as I get older. So I tell people, always put yourself in good protection. Always, go to a healer. Actually, I was wearing, I don't know if y'all know, but I was ill this past weekend, and I had a healer come pray on me, and I was wearing one of the rosaries, blessed by the Essenes, was a big healing rosary. I wish I had it here, but it came undone, and I had to get it's getting rehooked from Stacy's fixing it for me, because it was given to me by my best friend, one of my best friends, and I have two close healers. It's one of my close healers had given it to me to help me heal, and I was wearing it, and the cross came off, and luckily I was there when it came off, and I picked it up. I found it, picked it up, and brought it to her to get it placed back on. But it was definitely blessed by the Essenes, and it is a big healing cross. So let's talk about heaven, consciousness, and healing, and how it all comes together. Because what I'm trying to get you guys in my audience to understand is how all this fits in, like how all metaphysics kind of just puzzles in and fits together. That, the mediumship, the psychic abilities, the healing, spirituality, heaven, energies, and all that just kind of all puzzle in and fit together. It's all one and the same. Jesus was a medium. He's twice in the Bible. He speaks to the dead. He speaks to Moses, and then I forget the other one, but he speaks to Moses and he speaks to someone else at a different time frame. He brings them through. So again, it's there. So even back then they were doing mediumship. So anyway, but prayer is not just your prayers that you get at the local church or whatever whatever denomination that you are. Prayer is something that you can create. Prayer is just words of it. It's words that you put together in a rhythmic pattern that helps raise your consciousness, that helps raise your vibration. There are multiple prayers. You can create your own prayers. I love Facebook. When people are doing the high fives, like I've told you before, I just write the word done when people ask for prayers, because I don't like giving a high five when someone's sick, because what that looks like to me, like they're doing high five instead of praying. I just write the word done when they ask for prayers, because people responding to that request for prayers, that energy of response is sending energy out in helping someone. Just sending good thoughts to someone is helping that person heal. Mentioning someone's name in a good conversation is sending them positive energy. Or thinking about someone in a kind fashion is sending them positive energy. So what I would say to you, if you ever have a loved one in the hospital who's not doing well, if you go there and family starts to fight, kick them out. Really kick them out. Tell them go make peace, because this is not what you want around someone who is trying to absorb as much healing and as much positivity as they want. They need that positive voice, that positive framework. They need that positive sense of mind when they're trying to rebirth into the next life, and so into the next world, which is that level of consciousness that I speak of. And so, you want that to be pleasant for them. So what do I say? Now, I say, if, depending who they are and what their faith is, or in the character of the person, if they're young, I say, do things that are young, like read stories to them, Talk about fun things you did with them. Tell them how much you loved doing those things with them. And tell them how special they were to you and that how much you enjoyed their laughter. Those are the things that are going to help them cross over. If they're middle-aged people, talk about family memories. Talk about funny times. Talk about things that will bring fond memories to them. Those are the things that will help them. If they are very elderly and they are very religious, in that case, you may want to do a last rite very briefly. But then after that, tell them about the journey you enjoyed with them. Tell them what a great mentor they were for you. If they were, if they weren't, don't lie. Don't think, oh, you know, they're trying to bullshit me. I'm dying. No, but talk to them in pleasant tones. I've been in cases with family when people were passing and they're sitting there reading, doing the rosary and praying over, and they're all sitting there eating popcorn, like waiting for the person to die. No, nay, don't do that. Don't do that. The person already knows they're dying. They don't need that constant reminder. They need laughter. They need fun. They need, I don't mean stupidness. I just mean they need unity. They need compassion. They need to feel love. They need to be reminded of the love that they shared and that they gave you in this lifetime. That's what most people need. There'll be an occasional few, so I'm just saying that's how I would treat someone who is trying to transition to heaven, because all souls go to heaven. They don't linger back. I don't care who tells you what. Every soul goes to heaven. The soul goes. Now, the energies can hang around. The soul goes to heaven. And there's a lot of people who are going to disagree with me on that. I don't care. That's my belief. You can believe what you want to believe. If there is a God, and I'm going to say it that way, but because I believe in God, and I believe God is all powerful. And I had somebody question God the other day. If God, why would he allow this? I said, because you have to learn, because love you have the one thing about God is you have to learn the fact of love. And that's why you have to go to Judgment Day. You have to learn love. And if you learn love, then you have no problem with God. If you don't learn love, then you will have problems there. And that's why your life will be the way it is. I can't complain about life. I've lived a very good life, full of lots of love from lots of people. I have a lot of friends that I would take a bullet for. I have a lot of family that I would take a bullet for. And I actually had a patient I almost took a bullet for, and I almost got fired for doing that. But I actually had a patient I almost took a bullet for. So, actually, I almost had two patients I almost took a bullet for. One of them I almost got fired for. So I tell people, love is where the answer is. And if you can figure it out, but the key is, the first person you have to learn to love is yourself. And it can't be a selfish love. It has to be a love. And I don't know if y'all can understand that, but you have to love yourself, but it has to be a true love, not a. And it doesn't mean like, you have to take care of your health and, you have to do. No, what I mean by love yourself is that you have to be kind to you. You have to be, not always talking bad about yourself. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to, move forward with your life. Be kind to yourself. Don't let others, bother you. Don't let others let others' opinion of you be their opinion. Okay, so Julia's saying, I understand the compassion, the memories, telling in the dying process, but what if it is a resident? How do you go about helping one crossover that is all alone with no family So what I normally do, okay, so what I've done in the past, Julie, is I've actually sat with people and just talked to them. If I don't know anything about them, and if they can't speak, I'll talk about some good places in the world. I might if I know a little bit about them, I might talk about maybe their favorite foods or their favorite places, or I'll tell them that I hadn't known them that long, but with the time that I spent with you, you're one of the nicest people I ever met. I'm so happy to be able to spend these moments with you. I mean, I just need you to know that I care so much for you that I'm going to stay here with you. Okay. I'm going to sit here and hold your hand. And, if you mind me holding your hand, just push my hand away or squeeze real hard and I'll know to let go. But right now I want to hold your hand. If that's okay, just don't squeeze real tight. Okay. And I mean, I would do things like that, and I would just keep an open communication with that resident, and just talk to them. And if I had seen anything, like if they were a resident, I had seen maybe somebody come do their hair or something, I would say yes. I would say notice so and so come in and do your hair. I would try to keep a conversation, and I would let them know that I was going to open the window, or I wouldn't tell them so your soul could go out, but I would say I was going to open the window and just get some fresh air in the room, because I think that you would like the fresh air. If it wasn't real cold outside, of course. And, I would do things to brighten the room. I would not keep it gloomy. I would not keep it, I wouldn't keep it super bright, but I wouldn't keep it gloomy. I would not make it depressing. Okay. That's the whole point. And that's what I find people do. When people are dying, the first thing we do is we make it depressing. We make it depressing because we're depressed. So we make it depressing. I don't think that's what people want. I mean, I know they don't want bright lights. I don't know they don't want cameras and all of that, but I don't think they want it to where everything is depressing. I might bring fresh flowers into the room if it's someone that I think would like fresh flowers. I know I would do that too, but I wouldn't tell them that's why I was doing it. They might catch on to it, but I wouldn't know if I would verbally say it. I might bring some fresh flowers into the room. If they had a little dog or a pet before they passed, I might bring the pet up, and I would let their hand rest on the pet, or so. I would find things to do. Or I would talk, if they had clothes in the room, I would talk about their clothing. I would find things to talk to them about, other than just sitting there in silence the whole time, like staring at them like, okay, when you're going to, I've seen people do that. I mean, I'm going to talk bad about my own family. I watch my own family sit in a room for 5 days watching a family member pass, like literally waiting. They were sitting there waiting, watching my family member die, like they were waiting to watch the soul leave the body, afraid they were going to miss something. Like, wouldn't even go out and eat. Ordered delivery pizza, okay, because they didn't want to miss it, okay? And sitting there praying and doing a rosary. I finally had to tell them, leave the room. Go to the chapel if you want to do the rosary. That's fine. You can do the rosary from the chapel, but don't lay over the bed doing the rosary, okay? That's not what we want to see in the, every day doing the rosary, having the priest come in. No, this person knows they're dying. Okay, let's talk about some happy things, okay? It was great. It was creepy to me. It started to creep me out. It really did. It really started to creep me out after a while. And so I stopped going to the hospital because it really started to creep me out. My own family was creeping me out. Really bad. I mean, they were sitting like eating popcorn and pizza and drink. Well, let's call somebody bring us some food. Like they thought they were going to see the soul like leave the body. I'm like, ooh, afraid they were going to miss something. I was freaking out on them. And they would sit there and they reading the rosary and they praying, and the priest is coming in every day. I'm like, good Lord. I mean, this person knew they were dying. You know when you're dying. I mean, you know you're dying, and all these people like doing this around like they're not, and then they put the rag on the head and don't get me started. I that's good. Yes, sing some church hymns. That would be good. Keep it full of light and live. That would be perfect, Mary. That's what I'm saying. Light and love. Light and love. That would be great. Light and love. That would be fine. That would be fine. Sing. That's good. Raise the vibration in the room, because that actually helps the angels come in. Now that might be something you'll see in the room, but you're not gonna. You may see the soul leave. I can't say you wouldn't, but this family member, it took almost a week for the soul to leave. But for a week, this like 5 family members never left the bedside for a week. I don't even think they took a bath. They splash a bath in the hospital room. But so I say, you know, it's when I say to you, I say, so keep it lively, you know. But there's many people with different concepts of heaven, you know. Some people say, you know, there is none. When the body goes, you just go. But the energy has to go somewhere. Or us as mediums, we couldn't work. Basically, we couldn't work. I mean, I tap into your loved one. I tap through you. So it's like I go into that soul of that person. That piece of that energy of that person is inside of you, and then I tap into the soul energy of that person and start getting memories. And some of the memories you don't even know. So that's how we know we're in the soul of the spirit, is when we give you memories that you don't remember, and then they bring it to you. That's why I say that's the best evidence when those things happen. That is the best evidence as a medium, when you can't validate it right then and there, and then it comes to you. So that is the best evidence. So so that's where truly I believe heaven is a consciousness that lives everywhere. It is on a spectrum everywhere. It can be anywhere at any time. It lives within us all, and so a loved one can be with everyone that they know at the same time. There's no, you know, it's forever, and it can be with anybody at the same time, all at one time, and the piece of it lives with all of us because it lives within our hearts. And that's why the heart's so important. That's why I tell people, keep your heart clean. Keep your energy clean. If you keep your energy clean, you can see miracles. You can see those miracles all the time if you keep your heart clean. You know, you have to keep it clean. You do. And so if you do that, you will see some of the crazy things that I get to see. Sometimes I do think it's dementia. Oh, Lord, help Magni. But anyway, so, you know, this is a topic that it's tough for people. And I can tell it is, because I see the numbers go up and then they go down. But it is a tough topic, because because then after this phase comes the grief. You know, because right this you're in the shock phase, and then comes the grief. You know, then comes the denial, and then we go through all the stages of grief, right? You know, after this part. But, you know, heaven is a consciousness, and it's a consciousness that resides within us, and you actually design your own heaven by the love you have. And what I mean by that is that your heaven will be designed by the love you take with you when you cross. And I say that because when you cross, only the love you've learned in this lifetime will cross with you. So if you hadn't really learned or really loved, you're going to go through what they call, once you get to the other side, a lot of learning, a whole big learning phase. And that's kind of what I guess what the Catholics might call purgatory. Because you get, when you do cross, you get infinite knowledge. And so when the infinite knowledge steps in, you learn why you didn't go across to the other side with as much as everyone else. Maybe you didn't love like some of the others over there. Because there are some people that don't love. Hitler's in heaven. People don't. When I tell people, they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, Hitler's in heaven. Hitler is in heaven. All souls go to heaven. Didn't say they didn't say they enjoy them. So they might be in a lot of learning phase over there, that's what I guess what Catholics might refer to as purgatory, because you get it. Like I said, you get infinite intelligence once you get over there. I am going to go off topic a minute. I got to tell you something that really upset me the other Sunday. So Sunday I was riding in the parade. I'm not going to tell you what happened to me after the parade, but I will tell you what happened to me during the parade. I saw this woman. I just couldn't believe this. And it made me just, because we're talking about birth and life and stuff like that. And this is what made me think of this. I saw this woman, this young girl. She had to be 22, 23 years old. She had practically a newborn baby with her at this parade. This baby may have been maybe 6 months. Couldn't sit down on its own, you can tell. And she had that baby around her waist, holding it up to the floats like this, wanting you to throw stuff at it. Now, if that baby would have got hit with a cabbage or even a heavy pair of beads, that kid would have had a brain injury. I wanted to come off that float and go beat her senseless, call CPS, and say, girl, don't you... Oh, I felt so bad for that baby. She had that poor little baby up. Baby couldn't even keep his back straight. That's how young the baby was. And she's holding it like, throw me something, throw it at the kid. I'm like, nobody throwing you nothing. No, you got a baby in your, like a baby in your hand. No. Lord, if I threw something to that baby and broke his neck or gave him a head injury, I'd never forgive myself. I saw that Sunday, and then I realized that some people just are not ready to have children. I was like, thank God I was on a float with all nurses, because if I'd have saw somebody throw something at that baby, I'd have probably went and beat them on the float. There was a lot of nurses on my side of the float. Thank God. But I saw that, and I was like, I cannot believe this woman's got this. I mean, this infant, like, can't even sit up, and she's holding like right at the float. Like, I mean, and where you couldn't hand it, you would have to throw it. And if you threw it, I don't know how she'd have caught it, because she couldn't let go, because the baby couldn't. I mean, she couldn't even try to grab it because the baby was that little. It literally scared me, because I'm like. Because we were ahead of the St. Patrick's part, so when they started throwing cabbage, if a cabbage would hit that kid was gone down. Was going to have a brain injury, because their little heads are already soft at that age still. So I don't know, just freaked me out, big time. That's how empathetic I am. I was like, I felt that. I was like, that little baby had me hurting the whole day. But anyway. I had to get that off my chest. But speaking of heaven, that baby just came from heaven, because you come in from heaven and you go back to heaven. So, because I know when we read, I'll see babies come down, and they're usually brought in by a loved one from the other side. So babies do come in from heaven, and then then we go through life, and then we return. It's like a cycle. So I tell people that. Oh, hey, Miss Daphne, how you doing, girl? Miss Mary's here with us. We're all having a little reunion here. I was talking about the baby that I saw Mardi Gras. I mean, not Mardi Gras Day. I mean, at the St. Patrick's Parade. Also, I do want to mention one thing too. Oh, hey, Paul. That's right. You were with your nephew tonight. Y'all went down to Point Lahash tonight. How was Point Lahash tonight? Did y'all make it down there? Y'all ate down there or something? Did somebody else went and saw the house and came back? Daphne went down to her hometown tonight. Down to the sticks where she's from. Way down the bayou. Oh, but anyway, so yeah, that was Sunday, and that really kind of messed me up a little bit on Sunday. We just went sightseeing. Okay. So anyway, but so like I said, heaven is a level of consciousness, and you will go through a stage of learning, which most spiritualists believe, And we're learned by the spirit team, and you will get to meet and see everybody that you know again, and everybody that you've intertangled with, and you'll be reunited with family again, and people that you've been married to. And but it's not like you think. Like, people think like you carry your grudges. There's no grudges over there. There's no hate over there. There's no, if you've married 3 times and they're all dead, you're still going to be with all 3 of them when you get back over there, but not like you think. Okay, so not like you think, but the memories are there. Like, the memories are there. The memories are there, and there's different phases. And I actually have that's one thing I'm gonna have to maybe show you guys one night, is I will go through some slides that explain the different levels of consciousness once you get to the other side, and I can actually show you that. So maybe after we do the symbology class next week, I'll see if I can pull out the slides of the class that we taught. It's a piece of a mediumship class, but it's a higher level of mediumship. We talk more about, instead of talking about the sitter and how to read, we get into the dynamics of what goes on in the spirit realm on the other side. So maybe I'll share some of that with you guys. So that would be quite interesting as well. And that's just from the spiritualist point of view, because every culture, every religion has their own ideas. And so I'm not trying to change yours. I'm not saying mine are correct and yours are wrong. I'm saying you need to develop your own faith, because in life, faith is important. Faith is very, very important, and it helps you helps you back away any negative energies. It helps you back away anything that's not good for you. So faith is important. And it doesn't have to be mine. You can have your own. You can create your own. Again, the way to create your own faith is to walk down the road, in the middle of the road, and you go check out other faiths, and whatever resonates with you, you pull it towards. What you don't resonate with, you push it away. And you develop your faith that way. And you make it personal to you. You don't do it just because your friend's doing it, or your parents are doing it, or so-and-so's doing it, so it's got to be right. No, you do what resonates with your heart, and you develop your faith in that fashion. Hey, Julie. And that's how you develop your faith for you. Okay? Don't let nobody influence you. You pull what's good for you. And usually what will happen is you get a mixture of what you were kind of raised with, mixed with whatever you feel comfortable with. But faith is important, because it will keep negativity away from you. It will. It will help push away negativity. That's why faith is important. Your own spirituality and having your own school of thought is important. And I have communicated with people who were atheists on the other side. When they get to the other side, people, and that's kind of cool, because when they was here, they didn't believe in all this, because this didn't exist. And then they go to the other side, and they're like, "Damn." But the thing is, they're not wrong, but they're not right. They're not completely wrong, because it's not what they're told. And it's not what they thought, but it's not what they were told. So they're kind of right down the middle, so. So I kind of think that's kind of cool for them too. So it's like, nobody's really right or wrong. And even us, I mean, because nobody really knows. We can only go by what we're told when we talk to the other side. And people say, well, how do you know you're really talking to the other side? And I'm like, well, with all the validations that we get, because, I gotta tell people, I can't prove to you that there's life on the other side. I can only validate to you that there's life on the other side. You have to decide whether what I'm saying is coming from them or not. A medium can never prove to you that there's life after death. We can only validate to you that there is life after death. And you have to make that decision with inside your spirit, whether that's happening or not. And that's why I tell people, walk central down the path, pull to you what resonates with you, and what doesn't, push it away. And it's okay if you don't believe in something that I'm saying or something that somebody else is saying. That's okay. I'm not here to try to convince you to do anything. I'm here to share with you my personal experiences, to maybe help you find yourself, to maybe help you with your own spiritual path or make your spiritual path stronger. I'm here to help you with developing maybe something that you think you may have had and you might have gotten away from it because you wasn't sure how to develop it. I'm here to help give you some ideas. Now, what you do with it is on you. I'm not here to try to change your mind. I am not here to pull you. It's one thing. That's one reason why I like the spiritualist religion. I was never, ever, ever asked to join the spiritualist religion. I was never, never, never. They don't come knocking at your door. They never, never, never ask you for a donation. They will pass a bucket. If you go to a spiritualist church and do a service, they will pass a bucket because you do go to a service and they do give you messages from the pulpit. They do offer healings in the churches. So you do, and they do like usually after they'll do like a big dinner, and then after the dinner they'll pass another thing, and it's all catered, and they usually will give messages or do readings. They'll have the students come out and do readings and stuff. So it just depends. But you don't have to donate. But I do when I go because you get a lot. You get a lot. You get a healing. You get a message. You get a meal. When you go to a lot of the services, they'll do a meal, or they'll do like a. Some of them don't do a full meal. Some of them will do like cakes and drinks and stuff like that, and then they'll have another bucket there where you can donate more for the food and the drinks and stuff like that. And then a lot of people will come out and do readings and stuff while you're there. So it's a very interesting place. It's different. It's definitely a different game there, a different kind of vibe. It's kind of cool. I love going to different spiritualist churches and seeing how they run things. So with saying that, I say replying to death viewers. So saying that, Nacho Dead People has got only a few seats left, so I am going to start with saying that. So Nacho Dead People is next Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday, the 29th, at 2 p.m. at Agave. Nacho Dead People is going to be an event with Trini Simmons and myself. We're going to talk about Nacho Dead People. So we serve nachos, and you can purchase drinks and other food. There's 2 other food items you can purchase, but the nachos are free, and there'll be different dips on the tables. And we're going to come dressed colorful like your favorite Mexican person and come have some fun. Dress very colorful. There'll be music, and we plan to have a lot of fun that day. Those events are a lot of fun. And it's going to be at Agave Restaurant on Chef Mentor Highway, right next to the courthouse in Chalmette. That's next Saturday. I think there's like 10 seats left, maybe. Out of 40, I think there's like 10 left, maybe less. Anyway, so a few seats left, because last week they went, a bunch went like quick. It went from to quick. I figured it was going to do that right after Mardi Gras, and that's exactly what happened. After Mardi Gras, like a bunch of seats went boom. So I think there's like 8 to 10 seats left. So if you want to come, please get a seat, because I can tell you there is no standing room in this place. You have to have a seat, because a lot of people are going to be standing is me and Trini and the waitresses, because it's in a room. But it's a big room, and it comfortably seats 40 people. Comfortably. So and we're going to have music, and there'll be a bar, and then you can purchase drinks or whatever, and then there'll be nachos. Then we're going to read for you guys for a couple of hours and have a lot of fun. I did also check in, I think April 11th. I got to get with somebody, but I think April. Now, this is going to be a little more expensive. But if you want to go, you need to message me that you want to go. So thinking about Friday, April 11th, getting a limo bus, and we're going to take, I think, 20 people on a limo bus with unlimited mimosas, and do a mimosas and mediums. Depending on the cost, the most it's going to be, I can tell you the most it's going to cost is going to be $100 a ticket because of the cost of the bus. That's the most expensive. Okay? Because I priced the bus today and they're not cheap. Because it is a stripper pole bus. But it's going to be unlimited mimosas. Everybody gets a reading. We're going to go do a tour, and we're going to go to haunted places, and we're going to go to do fun things. And I can't get online. I can't answer the phone right now. We're going to go do fun things, and we're going to go do haunted places. We're going to go do some history. We're going to go look at some serial killer stuff, and we're going to tell stories, and we're going to get drunk together. And I will pick 2 Uber spots that we can, if y'all can catch an Uber to, have a designated driver to. We'll pick you up, and that way when we get back, you can Uber from there back home, so nobody's driving drunk, because I don't want nobody to get in trouble. But we think that'll be a fun night, that we all get on this bus and go tour to some of these haunted places, drinking mimosas and and having fun. Absolutely, Gwen. Why not? You can be too drunk. We have mimosas, and we'll have champagne, and that's all included in the price. And you're going to have 4 hours of ghost stories, and we're going to do it again in October too. Ghost stories, and I will let you know as soon as the tickets are available. We're going to take up to 20 people. It's just right now, the bus I priced today is a little over like $1,500 or more, and then I got to buy all the champagne and the liquor and all that to bring on the bus with the ice and the cups and all that. So we're looking at probably like $100 a person. So and that's with that one company. I got to wait on another company. I got to wait for the Susan was on last night, and her nephew has a bus. I'm going to see if he can get the bus cheaper so we can lower the price. If I can get the bus cheaper, then we can lower the price. But we just think that's going to be a blast. So, me, we like to have fun. And we're going to do it again in October during Halloween time. That's going to be the grand Halloween party, is that everybody dress up in costume and come do mimosas and mediums on the haunted bus tour. All right, folks. I have a client trying to call me, so I'm going to have to cut out. But I thank you guys for joining me and talking. Before I go, I got to do a couple things. So I promised I would do this. 3 cards I got to give you guys. Let's pick them randomly. She keeps coming up, the High Priestess. That's telling me I must need to have to go back to school or something. I keep getting that card. High Priestess, the Page of Wands. Write these down. The High Priestess, the Page of Wands, and the Moon. Those who took the tarot class, if you want to do the master, write those 3 cards down. The High Priestess, the Moon, and the Page of Wands. You need to write a story about that to get into the master class. You're going to have 3 of those stories. I'm going to give these periodically out during the sessions. Also, don't forget Seance Experiments by Kalila Smith. That's who's trying to call me right now, and Sid Patrick. And once you do the master class, you also get a copy of, this is the book that we pulled the whole class from, was Tarot with Sid, the whole story. And you will get a download of that when you take the class. That's all the stuff it's all on YouTube. Those of you that want to learn tarot, go on to YouTube. It's free. That course is free to you. All right, folks. Look for me this week. I don't have time to do readings tonight because I got to get that phone call with Khalil. It's really, really important. But I love you guys. I will definitely probably be on. I'm going to West Palm Beach this weekend. I will see if I can get on. I'll probably do it from my phone. So I will probably only be on Facebook Live. So look for me there. Okay? I love you guys. I will see you soon.